about those anomalies, I don't recommend you spend much time around them. Unless you've got a death wish, in which case, be my guest. When we're all dead and gone, limb technology but a footnote in the history books, the anomalies will remain. They're the legacy of our work here, and the Olympic Peninsula belongs to them now.
In that case, I'm gonna leave game and just stick to the menus. But I need to change some things, otherwise copyright. I can use it. I mean, fuck, I might actually do that for this game. Solely because my RB's kinda stuck. That and how do you call it? I don't know, this seems like a game that would probably be better on keyboard. So I'm glad to give you the accessibility to do so. That's nice. I also hear voices through the wall, so I'm gonna assume my little sister is up and he's in the TV. Yep. I could not sleep for the life of me. I was just scrolling through my phone, and at some point I just could not find it in me to just shut my eyes and tune everything out. Ugh, I hate that feeling. I hate how much control it has compared to me having control, but I think this is me in a way trying to gain control by doing something that might benefit me. And that's just talking out loud, documenting whatever it is going through my mind, considering that saying it out loud tends to help a lot better than writing it down in moments like these. I'm okay for the most part. I don't got like the jitters, or I'm not like, eyes aren't fucking going red. I think I'm just, I don't know, man. As I was trying to sleep, I just felt just the reality of things just feeling heavy. And I just could not find it in my brain to shut off just everything, mentally. Physically, that's not a problem. Like I said, I was just on my phone. I was organizing some playlists. I was editing some pictures of bears that I wanted to make as a PFP at some point, but I couldn't even do that. And I wasn't using the AI shit. I used to make my own little PFPs ages ago. I always set them as my thing. God, what a weird time that was. Surprised I left that alone. Well, I usually did it on my school laptop because of the precision I had with the mouse. Although, would have been definitely better with a drawing pen or something. But, I didn't have that. And my sister wasn't into digital art yet till I want to say till after she graduated. She had more free time and she wanted to use that time to try to do all that, since she was mostly used to drawing on paper. She was I think to an extent she was one of those freaks that preferred to draw with pen. And so any mistake was kind of hard to come back from. But she always did a really good job. I mean, she's really good at drawing. So, but she doesn't show us any of her digital art, and I always respect it. There was a point in time where we were sharing that PC, and she was always afraid that I'd go snooping around, but I told her, like, no, like, not respect it. You respect half to, like, literally everything I have and whatnot, so by all means, like, why wouldn't I do the same? She's just like, I don't know, just growing up with you, sometimes you were fucking mischievous, and I was like, yeah, but I was like 10 years old. She's like, yeah, I guess it's fair. I was like, oh, trust me, it ain't like that anymore. But even then, I always respected everyone's privacy, even around those times where I was a fucking menace. But no, can't say they really did the same for me. But in the end, I still did it back. Just because, I mean, I don't know. I don't care enough to fight about it. And even so, I mean, whatever I wanted to keep private, I always did. Like, oh my god, my fucking dating life in high school and middle school. Ugh. Fucking weird. And mainly just thinking about how, like, my two older sisters would be the ones snitching on me all the time. Because obviously mom and dad didn't want me to be dating and stuff. Dad was more just afraid of the idea of, like, me being a player and, like, having a kid at a young age, but I had no interest. But, I mean, obviously I don't blame them for caring about, you know, me making some dumb decisions. Mom, I don't know why mom did it, honestly. Like, I like to believe she was just trying to keep me away from, like, the drama and, like, things, like the aftermath of things, but I also think she just didn't want me to be stupid with decision making in terms of, like, growing up in, like, and getting into relationships, but I could never tell with that lady what it is or what she wanted or why she hated or liked, or I don't know. She was very strange in those aspects of things. But no. No, I mean, in terms of privacy and stuff, I obviously keep things private to a degree. Oh, one thing I didn't fix that I wanted to fix was my notification bar on my phone, because like I mentioned previously, the one thing I'm going to miss about my old phone is that it had a LED notification indicator, and it turned to different colors based on where I was getting the notification from. So yellow for Snapchat, green for TikTok. I don't know why. I assume because its icon was like black and it cannot shine that. But blue was for my emails, purple was for Discord, and then Instagram was like bluish purplish, weirdly enough. I didn't know it was capable of merging colors, but cool. But this phone, when it doesn't light up, it doesn't do anything in terms of notifications or indicating. I don't even know about indications or fucking notifications. Jesus Christ. Well, let me go through it right now. Notification pop-up style is just the top left icon. Stop. Add lighting effect. I have the spotlight. Who the fuck is Maria? Oh. Friends with Lisa and Adrian. Okay, Maria. Hide content while locked. Sort filter. Status bar. Icons dot. Wait, what? Dot? No. Lock screen. They're just up there. Or do I want them in the middle? Oh, show alerting. Like, silent notifications won't be shown. No. What? I don't know. I'll figure this out. I'll have this open. The do not disturb feature. I don't really need that. Hardly a time where, like, I'm getting flooded with notifications or some shit. I think the only thing is, like, probably bots from spamming me with TikToks, but I don't really mind. I don't care for that. Like, it does not bother me. It's always nice, like, opening an app and having someone, like, send you a bunch of shit. Nah, it's fun. It's like, oh, you know, what goodies are gonna be here today, type of feeling. But anywho, in terms of like speaking mind and all that, I don't know. I mean, normally when it comes to stuff like this, I find myself accidentally rhyming because of the poems I made. But I do the same with like journaling as well, and it kind of just, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you know, honestly, to talk about that topic, maybe it'll help me ease into speaking my mind completely. But I kind of made stories out of what I'm feeling or thinking when I can't sleep and whatnot. Unfortunately, this is one of those nights where creativity is not within me, where it helps me journal and be able to express whatever it is I'm feeling that's making me not be able to go to bed. And yeah, no, it's nice. But the stories are, I don't know, like, they're stories with characters that kind of give the reader whatever vision they want to the person that's being talked about. They don't have any specific gender or anything, but I will say one thing: those characters are me to an extent. And I know that's probably a strange thing, kind of, not really. I mean, it's not like, they're not like fucking personalities or something like that. I think they're more just giving personification to things I can't exactly explain by using analogy, simile, and some hyperboles to portray it a little better. That's comforting in the sense of, like, giving vision to what it is while writing a story. I don't know, it's a bunch of weird little things that I mesh up to kind of help me figure things out. Because, I mean, as much as I understand a lot and can figure things out to an extent, I obviously don't get it entirely. And so I've been trying to figure it out as I go. You know, and I'm not gonna read out any of my stories, of course, just because, I mean, the world's not ready for that. That, and it's like, it's kind of like reading your diary out loud, you know, kind of says feeling. But I can just explain without reading lines. But I made one that I liked a lot, that I was like, wow, I don't know, I was capable of such, I don't know, such, I don't even know the wording or the phrase I was going to use. I don't know, I was capable of writing something like this. And it's not, like, extremely impressive or, you know, alluring to any factor. It's just more, like, impressive to myself, because I'm just like, huh, this feels exactly what I feel. So I'm just like, okay, cool. And rereading it back, I'm like, yeah, anyone could understand this, even those who are fucking dumb and don't understand shit like this. Like, it's a pretty clear thing, and for the first time in terms of explaining something, I actually like it. And I was feeling a little edgy, and I was like, you know what? let's title this. I mean, everything has a title that I do. Yeah, none of them are as obvious because I mean, it's like writing a chapter. You don't exactly always write the most obvious thing that's going to happen in that chapter, like main character dies, chapter 4. You know, like you don't do that. And so in mine, I just called it Burning Man. And I was like, it's gonna sound like that one festival people like. I think it's called Burning Man. But again, I mean, these are all just private things that are like locked away, only accessible through my biometrics. Whatever the fuck they say. But I don't know. The whole summary of that thing is like emotion and emotion and mind kind of like clashing, but without the clashing. It's more of just like mentality staring down at, you know, emotional responses or emotion, I guess. This is like super fucking edgy, like in terms of like even explaining. But it doesn't get edgy to the point where I'm gonna start saying like, I bleed the blood in the land, it tastes my, you know, like shit like that. It's not like a dagger spears out of my heart. No, God no. I'm not a fan of that type of writing. I do like the more poetic like pieces of literature that sound edgy but aren't exactly like I don't even know a certain quote I can reference. I don't know if I can reference a quote because I'm fake when it comes to that stuff. Like I know, like if like someone were to talk to me about it, I would know, but I could not give you like the composer or the other artist or the writer and shit like that, because for some reason my brain can pick up. It's like how my brain picks up things in terms of like the, you know, photographic bullshit at times, and like how my memory works. I think of it as a pizza, right? Or think of it as like there's a pizza in front of you, and normally you know how you eat a pizza. You grab a slice, you gotta grab it from the crust, and then you take a bite. For some reason, my brain is like, no, I gotta carve a hole in the middle of this thing, and then I'll eat it like that. Pretty much leaving the crust on the edges, which is probably the most important bits in how you would normally typically eat that. That is an odd way and a very weird analogy of how my brain works, how it absorbs certain pieces of information, because although the corners are as important as the middle, it doesn't see it that way. And so I only take in what's important to me, I guess, to my brain. It's really weird. I never really understood it. So like I said, like with an artist of some sort, I don't remember their name, but I can probably remember their artwork and the titles and stuff like that. Or even with celebrities, for example, I'll probably remember the movies they played and what roles they played and the characters and all this, but not the artist's name themselves. I don't know if that like makes sense in terms of the pizza analogy, but it's just, I don't know, that's the best way I can currently explain it. Oh, I actually got a notification from Xbox. Your Microsoft points build up. Cool. But I don't know. But regardless, we're going back to what I was talking about. The Burning Man. It's more of just a piece about, you know, mentality looking at emotion, especially in the moment I wrote that, I guess. It's two characters are portrayed, but not really given any detail besides two perspectives, which there is a part two to the piece that I'm talking about. And the first piece talks about this person who wakes up every morning listening to this guy who's essentially on fire. And this guy, he's, on fire, he's yelling, he's screaming, he's pleading. But the weird thing is that there's really no fire to begin with. It's like this weird sense of, like, intense, like, I don't know, feeling. And it gets so harsh that, the person watching is just reciting mentally, like, I see this, like, every fucking day. And I remember it, but I just don't want to look. Yeah, and it's just reciting, like, he just, the quote-unquote Burning Man ends up just, just standing there, hoping for somebody to help. Eventually, he just kind of gives up and gives in and starts praying to things that he never really believed in. But yet again, all he does is end up laying and continuously just yelling and pleading. And our fucking wacky little main character goes into flight or fight, because it's just this terrifying thing to continuously loop. And eventually our main character ends up fleeing, and as they're fleeing they look behind because they feel guilty for fleeing. And as they're trying to get back into, their own house or whatever, the scene to me is like, it's so weird. The way I portrayed it mentally was like a motel almost. And, right next door is that other person, and we're in a desert of some kind. There's nothing for miles, it's just this hotel with functioning electricity and stuff. Don't know how it works, but that's how it goes. But as our main character runs away, they end up tripping on what essentially is the sand underneath, which is very slippery, I guess. Fucking didn't think that far ahead. And they hit their head hard enough to knock out. And as they knock out, they kind of fall in this sense of confusion, which I call this void of things, of memories, past, current, and past, present, and potentially future. Just kind of playing around with no control of movement, just kind of forced to listen, watch. And the whole void thing I got from a book that I initially read not long ago. It's called The Book of Disquiet. Pretty good read. I mean, I understood the entirety of the fucking thing, and it's crazy how people picked the book up and started portraying things from the writer themselves that had passed away, unfortunately, before finishing the book. But it's a pretty interesting read. I enjoyed it, really. But that's where I got the whole void thing, because it's a way people tend to definitely feel when it comes to existentialism, or whatever the word is. And that's exactly kind of what the character in my little thing is going through. The acknowledgement of self-awareness, and just the thought of right and wrong, rewatching old to new, and planning ahead, but only covered in static. That's kind of the weird portrayal I thought was artistic to me, and I was like, oh, wow. But then obviously I reread it and I changed a fuck ton of things, and I was like, I don't know how to feel about any of this anymore. But essentially, to summarize it in my own words without the portrayal of characters and all these things, I guess just as of late, I've been in this weird limbo. I think I've been in this limbo for months now. But I feel like now I can speak for the first time in a while. In the metaphorical sense, I guess. Every time I hear metaphor, I always think of fucking Perks of Being a Wallflower and all the fucking boys who started metaphorically smoking cigarettes to be quirky and edgy and be like, yeah, I watched that movie. I'm a bit of a romance guy, by the way. And it's like, fucking 3 letters, big man. 3 letters. But I don't know if Twitch is. I don't think Twitch would take kind if I set them. But no, I mean, I think it just feels like a limbo of like, you know, just understanding and being aware of the right and wrong of things, but then just feeling the emotion of confusion of the way you want to go by things. Like, you know the right and wrong, but you're left in confusion, and it's just this loop that you put on repeat, and it's just, I don't know, sometimes it feels like sometimes it feels like you're drowning. And it sucks. Because that's just the shitty reality of things. And within this like limbo of sorts, you know how to walk. You know what to do. You know the reality of things for yourself, but when the emotional side of things tug, it's just confusing. You just kind of feel and you stare and you just don't know exactly how to go by it. You just feel to understand. It's like listening to somebody cry, but it's you and you just can't cry. That's the weird thing about it all. I know what I should have done ages ago. And fuck, I understand it all, but why does it still hurt? I fight with myself solely because I didn't get clarity. And even then, it's like, it's not easy. It's this ongoing battle of what's right. And even then, at times, doing what's right one step at a time just, it hurts. And even then, like, I've been continuously doing it no matter what. Because I don't want this to devour me, if I'm being honest. I mean, I've been down this road before, it's just this time it's completely different, and it's a lot harder because it mattered to me a lot more. And I've questioned the idea of, like, am I just keeping myself here? And yeah, I'm not. I'm truly not. I mean, look at all this progress I've made. Look at how far I've made it. I'm impressed by myself, but I'm also obviously still gonna be in a rut about it, I guess. Like, I think maybe it just still doesn't make sense. And I think there's definitely times where I try to find a way to make it make sense, but it never does. And I'm aware of that, but I still somehow don't get it, I guess. And it's not that I don't know my rights and wrongs. I mean, everyone knows their rights and wrongs. It's just the ability to understand it to the complete extent that you would like to, and not just, I guess, delude yourself into believing you do know. But I'm not sure. I don't know why I'm afraid of even saying things completely. Like, I'm tired of being scared of saying exactly what's going through my mind, and it's such a such a frustrating process, even with myself. So I always understood why people fucking got upset or even frustrated with me when it comes to the whole, feeling like you gotta pull teeth to get something out of me, because I struggle with it myself. It's not easy on me either. It never has been. And I don't know. Obviously, I'm gonna feel guilty when that happens. Like when someone tells me that it's hard and to talk to me sometimes because they want to know about me, but I'm not giving them much. And fuck, I'm sorry, but I'm trying. I've been trying for the past whatever fucking years. But I want to stop being so afraid. And I can't even say this shit completely without sounding so anonymous because of the possibilities of things, but I'll try my best. Maybe for once. Not for once, sorry. I didn't finish that sentence. I didn't know where I was really going with it. I don't even know how to start it. I guess I loved it a lot. I loved you a lot. And I know it's normal for me to feel the way I do now. I know it's normal, and it'll take whatever time I need. But it's not fun by all means. But I still keep pushing because it's the right thing to do. But I'm gonna eventually fall down at times and, scrape my knee because mentally and morally I know what's right and wrong. but emotionally, it makes me sad to know. So there's times where I wish I was ignorant, just to kind of go with the saying of, ignorance is a bliss and all this bullshit. But I'm happy that I'm not. And it's such a heavy thing to have to conquer and deal with that, as I had mentioned in the VOD before, seeing those tarot readers and the people that get latched on and in just to grasp at some kind of hope makes me sad, because I know how it feels, and I was in their position at some point, but I hold hope not because of what they've told me, but because I think there's just a part of me that still obviously hasn't left completely. And that's the thing that in realistic retrospective, or whatever big fancy word there is to explain it, that love just never leaves. No matter where you go and what you do and how much you've let go, and even if you've done it completely, it's unique. But I think the problem with this one this time around, and I guess it's not really so much of a problem, it's just more of just how I feel. I think this one felt real for once. And because of that, I just can't leave. And I know the phrasing, it felt real, is very vague to a degree, but I don't know how to explain it any better. I guess in my old poetic sense, cringy or whatever, it was nice. It was everything I could have asked for. But I think the issue was that I wanted you more than you probably wanted me. And I don't say that in a rude manner of anger, and I just say it in the sense of considering how things are. You can't blame me for coming to a conclusion like that. And I took a big leap with it all at the end. Because, you know my story. I was scared. Just because I didn't want to fail you. I didn't want to disappoint you. But I still stayed real, and I still stayed true. And I loved every step of the way. Even the ones that got a bit hasty. And that is the truth. I know the visions I had for the future that we were building up to go to scared you too sometimes. But it was a future that looked promising. A future that had visions we both shared, and it's not easy to let go of something that nice. People obviously question and give me weird looks solely because of the time it's been. But not every day is like this for me. It used to be. But even then, I don't feel shame or regret, because the way I feel is valid. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna miss it all. You know, I'll admit that I was wrong. I was wrong in whatever prediction I had that this would have been solved. And I'm not afraid of being wrong. I think I'm just afraid. But I'm getting off track. Middle of the night will always make me think and remember about all the silly, fun, even the scary things. The things that I saw in your eyes that worried you about me. To the things that you were worried about not being able to achieve. I read them all. I just never said anything all the time. I only called out those things that were prominent considering what you had spoken about previously or recently. As I wanted that balance that you knew you could say anything and that wouldn't make me turn away. Because that's how it was. You know, ever since before everything. Before we even got together and thought about it. And I feel like, considering the fact of the distance between us, this will just be looked upon as just a silly little internet thing, but to me it was far more than that, as I made plans and I dedicated time to prepping for things that I was willing to make a risk for. I was willing to change so much, and even now I don't regret those things. Do I believe it was all for nothing? I haven't thought about it. I wouldn't say so. I mean, again, I don't regret any of it. The reaction I did just to see you be happy and smile made me happy. Your goals were my goal, or not your goals, your successes were my successes, just as they were back and forth, and we shared those things equally. And even now, I'm proud of the things you've done. Obviously, there's things that I'm most likely disappointed about, but that's pretty normal in life. I'm sure a lot of people are disappointed in me in things that I'll probably never be able to come back from, but I'll continue to try to grow from those things and not make the same mistake over and over. And even if I do, at least I'll understand. But my mind is just shocked, I guess, still, on how easily you were able to do things, how fast, and And I guess to have the idea of choosing in terms of me compared to someone that isn't worth the time, that's pretty disappointing too. But maybe that's all it was at the end of the day too. Maybe you never really saw me for me. Maybe you only liked the idea of me, but not the person. I don't know that. There's a bunch of possibilities and thoughts and all these things that I've gone through prominently and have accepted that I'll never have an answer to them. And as much as it sucks, it's what it is. It's gonna hurt and I'm gonna have to feel those things. As much as I wouldn't want to. What can you do? But I'm allowed to express and just feel. Time has nothing to do with healing. Because you could make the progress and you're still gonna feel. That's normal. I think I hate the fact that I feel like in a different perspective it probably isn't normal and maybe I'm really just that stupid. And I'm not afraid of getting something wrong again, it's just more, I guess it's just a lot. And I just wish it were different. But for now, maybe one day we'll cross paths again. Who knows? I'll never do it intentionally, of course. I'll just, go by what I do normally and we'll see, but I fear that you'll most likely just avoid me. And I feel like the avoidance is just guilt. It's not really this hatred built up for me. But I also wouldn't be surprised if ego flared up and you built something out of false pretenses to try to make yourself feel better about something. And it's not because that's the type of personality you have, but because people tend to do that sometimes. It's a thing that happens in life. I'm no different to admit that I've done that. Not to you, but just as I grew up and I realized how stupid that was. But I still think about you every day, and in terms of the emotional aspect of things, I mean, sometimes it gets heavy and most times it's just neutral. And there's those random sporadic times where I feel completely nothing and it scares me because I don't want to feel nothing. Because, I don't know, just that husk emptiness feeling terrifies me. I'd rather feel than not to, whether it be happiness or sadness. I'd rather deal with those things and run away and just have to deal with that burden over time. Because it'll gain weight as it goes by. And then once it finally comes crashing down, goddamn, is it gonna hurt? And I've changed my ways on those things because fuck that, man. The fuck was that on my phone? Started blinking rapidly. I see the Xbox notification, freak. I'm not fucking stupid. Oh, my Bluetooth, I guess, was on. I keep saying a lot of different things because I don't know where to start and I don't know what to say exactly. And that's like the rough part about me and my brain. There's just so many little things that like one thing leads to another that's connected somehow, but I'm not talking about the main tree. If I got... To me, these are branches from the tree that I want to talk about. And I keep picking at branches because I don't know where to start. So I'm going to start where I know my brain wants to. I just go quiet. It's exhausting, even for me. God damn it. I mean, I don't know how clear and obvious I gotta be, but I miss everything. Everything that will most likely never be the same again. I miss just existing with the person that liked me existing with them. And I miss even, like, I'm solely talking about the friendship. I always say fuck, I mean, I miss the relationship too. I mean, fucking the goals and everything we had in mind, the promises and everything. I was looking forward to it all. But I'm going to start at the beginning. I'm not going to rush. I miss the friendship. I mean, those early days of just yapping. I mean, hell, the fucking 1 in a billion fucking chance to have ran into someone. Just to have run into you specifically. That is one thing I'm never going to take for granted because, holy fuck, who would have ever known? You know, not you, not me, not anybody. Hey, you would have met some fucking freak from Overwatch. And saying it out loud, sure, it sounds pretty pathetic, but at the same time it ain't, because the emotion behind it from my own perspective and how I even know yours, that's one no one would be able to forget. Because at the end of the day, we still talked like humans. We didn't fucking start role-playing as fucking Tracer and Ball or whatever the fuck. No, we talk like human beings. We talk like people, and we acknowledged for the first time in a while, we were seen. We were understood by each other, and it was amazing. I'll never forget that night, because I don't plan on forgetting, because I'm not going to just disregard memories because I'm hurt. Those were beautiful things, and even, like, now, I see it the same way. Just from that night to meeting the couple of people we did to just branching off to one-on-one, because for some reason, somehow, someone actually enjoyed my company, and that was strange to me. And it's not because I'm like some fucking weirdo and everyone I've known has always felt like, you know, shunned, or not shunned away, but disgusted and repelled by me. No, it's more of just a factor of found someone who was similar and different than me at the same damn time, and that was exhilarating. Like, wow, who would have known? But I know you felt the same feeling. I'm not saying you feel it now or anymore, but you did at some point. And that alone is enough clarity. But those days as they went by, I was there to comfort you and be with you, and I know you felt afraid that you weren't doing the same back, but I always caught you with that same stare that told me all. Hell, I couldn't even fucking see you, and I knew. I always just reassured you, telling you, hey, don't worry. Like, if I have something in mind similar to what you're given, then I'll do it, I promise. And to be able to read you, don't get me wrong, yeah, I can pick up on people's things and whatnot, but you were the first person I could understand completely. We shared similarities in different ways, in different manners. And that alone is just poetically beautiful. You know? And the trust we had in one another, the way you saw me and the way you acknowledged, the way you included, the way you showed me the light in things, I always felt like I wasn't enough, because fuck, I mean, look at me, you listen to me, even now, hell, you hear any of it I've talked about. How heavy of a person I am to be around. But yet you seem okay with it. So that acknowledgement to me meant everything to me. For the first time, I could be me and you could be you. And it felt like I had known you my entire life. And that was enough for me in our friendship. Staying up for like 10 plus hours just talking about fucking anything that came to mind. And again, that perception is going to be seen differently by others, because holy fuck, why would you do that? Blah, blah, blah. And if people want to do that, they do that, especially when they enjoy their company. I never saw it as a bad thing, solely because, if two people want to do that, then what's so bad about it? Is it just seen differently because others cannot find themselves in a situation like that? Or are they truly thinking about the health benefits? Because at the end of the day, sure, they were there, but we would be fine regardless. We knew, we understood, but we made those choices, and I think that's what's extremely beautiful, is the making of choice. Because before we knew it, that was love. You know, even the times you were afraid, even the times I was afraid, those things were amazing to me. I cherished them closely and thoroughly. And as time went by and things were going, I think my biggest regret is not showing up for you the way I wanted to that entire time. But I do not blame myself. Not entirely. Because my situation is a lot different and unfortunate that it prevented me. And it wasn't a day that I didn't feel guilty for it, because every day was a day that I just wanted to finally fulfill something that I've been promising for so long, and it just saddened me because I hated how things were, and yet you were okay with it. But I didn't hate that you were okay with it. I hated the fact that it was like that for me. Because I wish I could be 1,000 times better, or 1,000 times in a better position than I was. But wishing for that would take the changing of history, and doing so would have never led me to you, and for that I would have not changed a thing. But as the early portions of our friendship went by, the middle portions got bumpy, of course, because we were both trying to understand one another still, until we could finally see who we were truly. Putting each other in these weird little tests to figure out what we do, what we choose, asking questions with anonymous meanings behind them. And in the end, figuring out that we really just loved who was standing on the other side of those screens. But of course I had to be stupid about it. I was afraid of a lot of things before I approached that question, before I even said anything or even wanted to tell you that I knew. I was afraid that 6 years of my life that I had spent recovering from one thing meant that I wasn't ready. But the thing was, I was ready. I was just missing the part where I'd be able to support financially, and that was a rut that was harder to get out of, but everything else was there. But I know the poetic saying of like money isn't like what defines love and blah blah blah. It's not like that. I think there was definitely times I drove myself to sadness because of how much I wanted to close the gap, because I saw it in your eyes every time. How much you wanted, but you were sad by it. And that didn't bother me. It didn't upset me. It just made me more determined to get to the goal. But goddamn was I. Life was not kind in between those things. But I didn't give up. Because every time I knew what I was working towards. And every time it was worth it. But regardless, to finish the explanation of the friendship portion of things, it was amazing. It was great. We shared. We were like the bestest of fucking friends, and I loved it. Joking the way we did, you know, seeing things the way we did, having the same opinions, and, you know, exploring and like learning, growing, doing things better, understanding. Amongst it all, like the comfortability where things just felt right. They felt safe. They felt amazing. You know, I mean, hell, I was happy. Even then, even before we decided to get together. Nothing made my day more than the idea of hearing your day, or even just telling you about mine. But mine was usually pretty boring, as I didn't want to sound like a broke. I didn't want to sound like a broken record half the time with the repetitiveness of what my schedule and routine can look like. And but I don't know. But I still told you and whatnot. I know at times when it came to doing the things I told you I normally would in the mornings, like work and shit, you probably would have loved to have heard the stories and the things I talked to and about with people around me, but I never did because I never really interacted with many people. Not purposefully, it's just everyone's different, and I interacted with them and made small talk and conversation, but never anything massive where I got invited to things. It's just more like I existed, and they knew I existed, and they'd be like, hey, how you doing? And just, I don't know. I'm not gonna bother explaining this because it doesn't really add to anything right now. But all that was great. It felt real. Just as I say all the time, but it's the only way I know how to explain it because all that time I enjoyed every single second. And just hearing you laugh brought me so much joy. Hearing you change your tone and be expressive with me, whether you were sad, distraught, stressed, overwhelmed, overstimulated, angry, or anything. I was smiling every time. Not because I enjoyed moments of displeasure that you were going through, but because you trusted me just as much as I trusted you. And going from there and then finally figuring out what we really wanted and, locking in, I guess. That part was beautiful too. Because it felt right. It felt amazing. I felt like I made an amazing impact in your life, and you made one in mine. A positive one for the first time in both of our lives. Everything just kind of fit like a puzzle. And slowly we were both adding the pieces to finally finish it up. And even after we got together, I enjoyed the simplest of things as they reminded me of you. Things that I had noticed before, but comparing the feelings and seeing how identical they were, it just made sense. When I want to go work, when I want to go run some errands, or even just a simple walk while you were still sleeping or doing some stuff of your own and living your life. Just listening to the wind, feeling the wind and how calming it was. The simplicity of a small detail that's surrounding us all the time reminded me of the person I couldn't wait to get home to. The person I wanted to make a dream into reality. And just as you wondered what was in my head all the time, I wondered what was in yours. But it was definitely unfair to you that I knew yours more than you did mine. And I wish I could have told you. I wish I was different in that aspect. And that was my mistake that I always take accountability for because I understand how it can be, how you explained it to me. now. I won't be, obviously I'll never dedicate to working onto it for you, but always for me. But nonetheless, all those visions and dreams we shared, from the comfort and the coziness that we wanted in our lives, that we shared similarities on, to the things I didn't understand that you had to teach me because I wasn't really knowledge in those things. And just listening to you design something that I can envision entirely. From the color of the house to the interior and where things would have been placed. The dedication you had as much as I did. And sure, I know you doubted those aspects in yourself because you weren't doing the same amount as I was, but you were doing more than enough than you can ever see. Because you were dedicated and passionate on something like that as much as I was. And I never blamed you, and I never will, for the way things and how they were heavy for you. I understood, and even now I hold no resentment. I will not speak ill of you for things like that, or in general, because my feelings were true, just as much as yours were at some point. The way you simply stared at me told me a million things that I could never recite back to you. And one of those things were that you really wanted me dead. And a stupid inside joke, sorry, from both of us. No, but at the end of the day, this is why my mind and my emotions tend to fight with one another in terms of right and wrong, because morally I know what's right and wrong, but 3 years of that, and it felt like we were finally going in the right direction in terms of just the general portions of our individual lives. Now I kind of feel like I'm just floating in some emptiness that's full of just these passing memories as memorable dates come by and certain things show up. I just can't help but get stuck in limbo every now and then. As in terms for love, I don't plan on looking for any anymore, because it wouldn't be fair to anybody, because I still love the person that's no longer here. And maybe that makes me sound ridiculous, but after explaining all I did, I see more than what I said, and that perspective is only going to be for me, not for anybody else to understand. But I miss you in every aspect you can think of. I still remember the details of things that I probably shouldn't. And nothing bad or malicious. It's more of just like from the lines on your face to the details of the last time you told me about your day. I still remember your favorite things, and maybe even that's changed. And that's okay. And I've questioned everything you've probably thought about, or people have questioned you on, whether maybe this was just a distraction, or maybe this wasn't really love, or maybe this was just, you know, a filler thing or something. But to me, at the end of the day, it was true and it was real. Because those visions, those talks, those thoughts, those plans, those promises, those aren't things you just give to somebody you don't mean anything to. Let alone the time we spent. That was love. But maybe as of now, and moving on, it'll only be love to me. And that's okay. Because I'll never just kill it as it doesn't just leave. I enjoyed every moment, and I miss every moment. Would I repeat it? Most likely, yeah. But if a day ever came anew, I'd rather do it better. Even if it meant simply friendship. But nothing is promised. Not even waking up tomorrow. So for now, I'll most likely keep having these battles, and it's gonna suck. But as a wise person once said, or I at least read about, to suffer is better than to feel emptiness. And it's true. I'd rather acknowledge and feel than avoid and run. No matter how heavy, no matter how hard, no matter how scary. But for now, I'm gonna lay down and think for a while longer before I decide if I can shut my eyes completely. I guess I just hope if nothing comes out of anything, and I hope you at least just remember me. But and if there's ever at any point you might need to find me for whatever reason it is, I mean, you know how to find me. Just a matter of doing so. But time to me will never just erase everything. I'd rather be a better person and just accept and slowly move, instead of just take a big leap that you're gonna have a big fall to. So if there's ever a chance anyone ever comes across these, Godspeed. I have a lot of thinking to do still. Just know that I never stopped missing you. Even if you immediately stopped missing me, I never gonna hold it against you, as I knew who you were, even in the end, with whatever harsh things were said. And that still doesn't change anything for me. Whether I'm stupid, stubborn, or a fool, I'm still me. And I'm gonna stay true to that. So, as the days go by, I'm gonna miss your voice. I'm gonna miss your smile, your laugh, your everything. Hell, I'm even gonna miss when you start calling people fucking pussies for some random reason. But I know to an extent you were just kind of going through something. And I think you were just being funny. But I can't blame you. I started fucking saying it recently. Not exactly. I don't call people fucking... I don't call them that. It was a reference, a Charborg video. Fucking Tony Hawk. It's stupid. You're supposed to skate on the sidewalk. Oh, on the sidewalk like a fucking pussy? It's a good watch. But, anywho, there's a lot more I can say. There's a lot more I want to say, and I don't know if I can right now. I miss when you would fucking correct me. Fucking brown eyes. Such a silly thing, but I did it on purpose half the time. Meaning, yes, there was times that I didn't do it on purpose, and I was just fucking forgetful. Everything I would like to say is things you could just reread if you ever went back through those poems. Definitely wish I wrote those better. Or even added punctuation or kept them simple. Because, holy fuck. I definitely didn't like some of the ones I sent. I was like, how many did I send? Over like 600 something. It's a lot. But I loved reminding you every morning. That was one of my favorite things. I just definitely wish I did it better. Sometimes I would read them and I'm like, this is a poem a 10-year-old made, and I'm like, fuck. But I need to shut off my brain for a bit. Regardless, you know where to find me. I know you do, and I know every day you'll make the choice not to. I think that's the part that probably stings at times a lot. Sometimes I think maybe you're waiting for me, but I heavily doubt that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have taken the action you did. Because that's what I believed at first, and I was wrong. I was completely wrong. But, good night. Hope you have a good day, week, month. Hope spring is treating you well. I know it's your favorite time of month, so... Or favorite month, sorry. So I hope you get to enjoy the weather before it gets all hot, quote unquote, Mr. 75 degrees and 80 degrees is hot. That shit's nice. I can't say anything. I really can't say anything. 60 degrees is cold to me. God damn. I need to stop.